Oh yeah. Salutations. It's a good day. I want to actually cover a couple of different topics. So today, another one that I wanted to cover anyway is a topic that's not going to go over very good, and I know a lot of people are going to get upset about it, but it's something that the research shows and that experiencers are talking about that I think needs to be addressed. And it's so often that we hear so many people saying, oh, Sasquatch is the brother, the forest brother, and peace and love, yada yada. And you know, that's fine, but the fact is that there are an awful lot of reports, and especially when you start looking back at Native American reports of two species of these Bigfoot type of creatures that are very aggressive and known to be cannibals. And cannibalism has been a problem amongst humanities for a long time. So to think that doesn't go over to some of these creatures is somewhat foolish, I believe. And also, I think also might account for some of the things they're saying from David Pauletti's 411. Some of the missing cases. Not all of them, but maybe some of them is actually connected to this two type of Bigfoot type creatures. That would be what's called the Genoskwa and the Gugwe, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I want to give much shout out because look, I have not, although I had some type of weird experiences at a SETI with some type of what I think is maybe a type 1s, I don't know, but I didn't actually see them, and I certainly have not had any experience with the Genoskwa or the Gugwe. But I give a lot of shout out. If you do your research, you'll find a couple of people that are talking about this that has experienced them. One guy's name is Brian Sullivan. They call him Brian Duke Sullivan. Big shout out to him. He experienced one of these Genoskwas when he was a kid, and he talks about it. It's a very vivid encounter, and I think he's probably one of the few people you can hear that has survived it. And he's also interviewed some other people that have. And also another one is this gentleman, Matt Squatch. I check out a lot of his stuff, man. He's done a lot of stuff on both these creatures, and his stuff is really good. His information is on point. Sasquatch Chronicles is another one, and Bigfoot World Radio. They've all done a lot of stuff on these type of creatures. So anyway, let's talk a little bit more about them. The Genoskwa itself is a very large, up to like 12 feet tall, type of Sasquatch, but it's got something about it. It's got more of a bear type of face. Okay, so it doesn't have the muzzle, but it also is also called a couple of other things. I've seen them call it also the face eater, and also stone giants. But I think kind of when I look at stone giants, maybe that's a little different. I did something on giants, but stone giants were known to be these very large Sasquatch type creatures that were cannibals that would actually roll in tar and then roll in rocks and sand, and to get some type of almost silicone on themselves so that they're impervious to the weapons, to the harpoons, or to the javelins and weapons thrown by the Native Americans. And they didn't have any problems till muskets started appearing, and that it will actually penetrate that little shell they were putting on themselves. And they were known to come in just to, I think, Native American camps and just massacre several Native Americans. And they would do this deal where they would actually tear off the jaw and then carry off the victim so that they can't make any noise at that point once their jaw is removed. And they're also known to behead people quite a bit in a cannibalistic fashion. So that is very, I think, terrifying, but I think that needs to be addressed as well. That's the Janowska, and something about them, as well as the Gugwe, is that they're reported to have talons. Much more talons instead of like your type 1 and type 4 and 5 Bigfoot that are said to more have almost primate type of hands or human hands. These individuals have more of a predatorial deal, which looks like they're designed for meat. The Genoskwa is known to be up north quite a bit, so I think you're also dealing with some of the abominable snowman illustrations, which always tend to be more your terrifying type of a deal. So that's just one of the creatures that I want to definitely go over a little bit and talk about, that they tend to also be solitary hunters. That's something that I think makes them not the same as the stone giants as much, because I think the stone giants tend to appear, several of them together and working in collusion with each other. As to where it seems like the Genoskwa, like the Gugwe, is normally seen alone. So that's just one of the creatures there. The other one let's go over the Gugwe, all right? And I think that was termed by Brian Sullivan, I believe. Not sure. Anyway, sorry, I'm not an expert in that way. But something about the Gugwe is it's also termed as a type 3 Bigfoot. So that's going to be your Bigfoot that has the muzzle or the type of a snout, all right? And they look more like a baboon or a mandrill. And when you start going into like the mandrill, it's amazing how much they look like a mandrill to me. And when I say taking a lot of pictures of mandrills, I see even some of the ones with the most unique looks, when they start burying their teeth, and you know, mandrills like fight off lions and stuff like that. When they start burying their teeth, their eyes roll back in their head. It's pretty fearsome, I think. So to think that you've got a creature that might be the size of a Sasquatch out there moving around is very, I think, a little terrifying. And this takes us into one of the famous pictures called the Beast of Seven Shoots. I'll put it up there too. It's the one that's seen carrying what looks like a dog or something. They say in that area a poodle was said missing around the time this picture was taken. And the gentleman that took it didn't actually see that creature in it until he actually developed the film. And it's got the snout on it, as some of the types of skunk apes have been reported to have that also. So I think that takes us into more of this Gugwe, and they're known to be very aggressive and cannibalistic. So that's just another one of the issues there to kind of look out for that. So I think if you encounter one of these, you definitely want to go the other way. They too seem to be reported as being solitary hunters. And to me, when looking at, especially maybe more the Genoskwa, but both these species to me just seem very odd. And they seem that they break their traditional Bigfoot type of categories in that they're cannibals, and they seem to be strictly creatures that are made to be cannibals with the talons and the type of teeth structure that's reported with them, with the Genoskwa, and also the connection between the mandrill, the baboon, and the Gugwe. And also in history, there's reported in the fossil record, they've got these huge baboons that once walked this planet. So we talk about we see in legend, these type of genetic experiments that went on in the old days and in the past cycles. You may be seeing remnants of that right there. But in our society, we don't even want to acknowledge that this stuff is real. Instead, we just ignore the people that are having these experiences, or they're scared into not ever talking about it. And I'm glad to see that's changing. And the communication, the World Web is changing that stuff, man. People are talking, they're getting out about it. So, real quick, go over my notes, see if there's anything I missed here. No, I think that's most of it. Just some of the. When you look into this for yourself, listen to some of the reports of the people that said they've had encounters, or some of the Native American different tribes that talk about these two types of creatures. There's nothing good to be said about them. Something else I want to throw in, the Genoskwa has also been called the Wendigo. It's different from the Wendigo that we're familiar with, the one that's more of a spirit. This is more also called a Wendigo. It's more of a physical creature. So also I've heard them call that quite a bit. So check out the gentleman that I said. Another one I'll throw out too is D. Doss, the Bigfoot Dogman Report Center. He does that, or something similar to that. He's a bad brother too. He does a lot of in-field training and stuff like that. He's out there doing the work. So I give a shout out to every one of those people. Something else about the Type 3 Bigfoot, the Gugwe, it also is sometimes confused with the Dogman. And the difference, because of the muzzle, so the difference between them and the Dogman is going to be the body. The body of the Dogman is more of like of a canine standing up erect. And I think the legs are slightly different, more canine, as opposed to these creatures that are more closer related to the Bigfoot type of category. So that's another way to describe them, a difference between the Gugwe Type 3 Bigfoot and the Dogman reports you're hearing. But I think they get confused a lot. If you look at the Bigfoot of 7 Shoots put up, or Beast of 7 Shoots, it has a look that almost like it could be a Dogman type of thing. But if you look at that, that's a Gugwe. So anyway, I just want to throw that out there. Thank you for everybody on Patreon. These videos are still going on because of you. Thank you people on they're commenting on YouTube and supporting. Please share, please like the videos. I'm trying to beat the shadow ban that's put on my channel. It doesn't come up in search engines anymore. Also, people that are already subscribed aren't getting notified, so please hit the bell again. Make sure you get notified. Thank you very much. Peace.